You know, folks, when people look at the 2012 to present incarnation of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, mostly known as Nickelodeon's Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, as I've said before on camera, like I am now, and like I am on now, and like I've said in text, typing up either on keyboard or through Dragon Natural Speaker, you know, I've basically mentioned that a lot of people have mixed reactions to this. You know, a lot of people feel that, you know, you have a lot of new fans and longtime old school fans that, you know, basically what I'm saying is a lot of new fans, a lot of longtime old school fans that are enjoying this new series because they like some of the concepts that the creative writing team has come up with. They like the little tributes, homages, if you will, to previous incarnations, the Easter eggs, if you will, references. And you know, that's all good and everything. You know, that's all good and everything. And a lot of other people also like the concept that, yes, it's a good idea that you have some of the main human characters like April, Casey, Irma, Karai, that it's good to have them portrayed as teenagers so that you can actually put emphasis on the fact that all the characters, the main human characters involved, are teenagers and that they're growing up with each other. So that's a good thing in the eyes of a lot of fans, old and new, that enjoy watching the series. But then, of course, you got fans like myself that have a mixed reaction. You know, it's like fans like me understand why they did it, kind of understand the concept of what, like I just mentioned, of the fact that you have all the characters as teenagers and they're basically growing up with each other. So I understand that concept. You know, I can understand and respect that concept. I can understand and respect the references that are thrown in here and there. But, you know, for some fans, especially longtime fans like myself who have that mixed reaction, it's just more along the lines of, yeah, we understand and respect what's being done. It's just that we cannot see this as, the thing is, to us, we just really don't see this as being, you know, being a Ninja Turtles, a take on the Ninja Turtles that is true to Ninja Turtles. It's like we can't really look at it from that perspective. It's like we can't really, we can accept and understand why they're doing this. We just can't really, you know, sit down and watch the show as a whole. We can't watch episode after episode after episode as a whole because of the fact that to us, it's just not really the Turtles. I mean, it is the Ninja Turtles. It is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. It is another take on them. It's just that we're so used to seeing the Turtles as they are. We're used to seeing the Turtles and April and Casey and Karai and Irma and anybody else involved portrayed the way we're used to seeing them. We are. You know, we're used to seeing them portrayed the way we're used to seeing them. And again, it's more along the lines of we can accept and understand why they're doing this and even respect it to a point. It's just that we can't really sit down and watch it because of the fact that as good as it might be in the eyes of a lot of fans, old and new, to us it's just not really Ninja Turtle-like in a sense. It's not really Ninja Turtle-like. I mean, I'll tell you this though. If this show was more like, let's say, Out of the Shadows, which is based around it, then I could understand that because that's kind of close. That's kind of basically being more relatable to what we're used to because it seems that the characters are not just older, but now you have April, who's like a teenager in this version, more like an adult, just coming of age and basically now being an adult April, and we can understand that, we can accept that. But again, it's just the fact that even though we understand and accept and respect what they're doing, it's just kind of hard for us to sit down and see this. And then, of course, you have the group of fans that just plain don't like it. It's like, this is, to them, to the fans that just plain don't like the show, it's more along the lines of, this show's nothing but a joke. This is like basically a parody of what Ninja Turtles is supposed to be like. It's like Nickelodeon, to them, the fans that don't like it, they're just basically making a joke out of Ninja Turtles, instead of taking it seriously like they should be taking it. So you have that group of fans that just feel this is nothing more than a joke, a parody. And it's not really Ninja Turtles. And when you look at all these, different groups of fans, there's one thing it's doing for the show. It's getting fans to talk about it. Even if fans like me don't really watch it every now and then. I will catch a glimpse here and there, or hear what my teenage nephew not my teenage nephew, but I will hear what my 10-year-old nephew has to say about it. So it's kind of like back and forth, if you will. It's really back and forth. Or with a lot of fans, we'll catch, for us that have that mixed reaction, we'll catch a glimpse of it. And then you take a look at, certain things that have happened in this series. Especially with the second season of all things. Because they always say, okay, the first season, you look at it, and it's like that's an establishing season. It's to establish or re-establish who the characters are and what the roles are going to be in the series. Well, the second, third, and maybe fourth seasons to follow, like the second, third, and fourth seasons to follow, are the ones that are going to determine whether or not this is going to continue being a hit, or if it's going to slowly die down, or its popularity is slowly going to die down, to the point that fans don't like it anymore. Fans don't want to deal with it anymore. And that's a possibility too. And again, you take a look at the second season here, and a lot of things have happened in the second season so far in just a span of 9 episodes that you have a lot of fans that are enjoying what they're seeing. You have a lot of fans that don't like what they're seeing, and you have fans that are on the fence in that middle grounded area, that are still unsure about what the series is really going to be ultimately all about. What it's really going to, result in, what the real conclusion, the real ending is going to result in. For example, and the second season is probably the most talked about between all different groups of fans. Fans that like it, some that are in the middle of it, are kind of like on the fence about it, and those that don't. Because a few situations have happened. One, you had April for about 6 episodes, going up to 6 episodes, well, actually not 6 episodes, but about 5.5 episodes, not wanting anything to do with the Turtles because she was upset about them because of what happened to her father being mutated into a bat known as the Kirby bat, or their version of Ringnut, who knows. And then you have in the 6th episode, from 2 different perspectives, Casey Jones, who does arrive in the series, I think this season, which he did arrive, Casey Jones that is, and you have Donatello, both basically seemingly telling April the same thing about what happened. Basically cluing her in that, hey, accidents happen and there's nothing you can really do, and there's nothing you can't, basically something along the lines of, hey, bad things happen and you can't really be angry about it your whole life. You can't let that anger or something like that consume you. You gotta, you gotta have an understanding, a balance, basically saying that, okay, it's not really, it's like, okay, it's not really, like in the Turtles' case, in her case, it's like, it's not really the Turtles' fault what happened to her dad. It's just something that happened and they had no control over it. That's basically what they were saying. You have that, And then within that same episode, at the end, you have April kissing Donnie on the cheek. So you have a lot of this happening, and then on top of that, you have this recent episode on Sunday where it's revealed that April's half human, half alien, thus a mutant in terms of, because of her mixed DNA. Basically, she has human and Krang DNA mixed in, so she's basically a mutant. And there's a lot of fans that are, and again, there's a lot of fans that enjoy the shows, they're okay with this, they like this concept they're going with. There's fans like me that are kind of like on the fence about it. You know, I'm one of those on the fence, kind of like mixed reaction fans that are like, you know, I understand why they did it because it's a different incarnation, it's a different take on the Turtles. But to me, it's like every other incarnation, except for the very beginning of when the Turtles first started as a franchise, that every other April in between, up till now, never had an origin to where she was revealed to be half human, half alien, thus a mutant in her own right. Because as I said before, you know, as I said on camera, and I said in a typed up version, or Dragon Naturally spoken version, you know, I could understand, I could understand and accept, I understood and accepted the fact that in the original series, for one episode each, you had her mutated into a cat woman, a fish woman, an insect queen woman, and then even though it took to the last season of the 2K3 series, you had her mutate, transform into this big yin-yang monster. So I can understand and accept all that. You know, because those are like one-time occurrences, and there's no revelation at the end of any of them that it has to do with the fact that she's half alien, half human, half alien, thus a mutant herself. It was only one-time occurrences. So to me, you know, I'm one of those fans that's kind of like mixed about this new series. That's mostly, you know, understanding why, you know, this origin, they're going with this origin for April, because it's a different take on the series, a different take on the franchise. But I'm also the kind that's like, you didn't really have to do this. You know, you could have gone a different way. Like, you could have said, maybe her father infused Krang DNA into her. Kind of like when she's a baby, kind of fed her a little bit of Krang DNA maybe in a bottle of milk, or kind of shot a little bit of Krang DNA. I mean, kind of like take a concept, if you will, that was done in Batman Beyond, well, not Batman Beyond, but in the Justice League / Batman Beyond episode, Epilogue. You know, we find out that the reason Terry McGinnis became Batman and why his DNA matched with Bruce's is because his father ended up getting Bruce's DNA shot into him when he thought he was getting a flu shot. So I figured that would have been a better way to do it. Say, okay, Kirby knows what the Krang's about, so let's have him shoot the DNA into April, or work it out to where, let's say April's getting her flu shot, she can have the DNA shot into her. So that at least from maybe on a more positive standpoint, she can kind of know what the Krang are about, why they're after her, and what the real plans are. Instead of saying, oh, well, she's half alien, half mutant. You know, half alien, half Krang. I mean, essentially, yeah, she would be, but it would be a better explanation than saying, they took her mom and they experimented on her possibly when she was pregnant with April. Just saying. It would have made more sense to me. But I know but again, I kind of understand and sort of accept the fact that they're doing this because it's a different take on the Ninja Turtles. You know, and then of course you have fans that don't like the series, that pretty much don't like this idea. They don't like any of what they've seen, and pretty much are hoping that whenever the series comes to an end, it's never renewed again. I mean, it's being renewed for one more season, and they're probably hoping it never gets renewed after that. But the thing is, though, folks, whether you like it or you don't like it, or whether you hate it or whatever, I mean, there are some fans that actually watch the episode, but they don't like how the characters are being portrayed. There's one fan over on one of the Facebook pages, one of the Facebook group pages for Ninja Turtles, and this fan basically said that they didn't like the episode, which tells me they do watch the series, but they also don't like this version of April. To plainly put it, they said that this is just an original character, no C with April's name attached to it. That this is basically what they're saying. This one fan was saying is, this is not April. Mo Long Lane saying, this is not April. The Casey you're seeing is not Casey. The Karai you're seeing is not Karai. The Irma you're seeing is not Irma. They're just original characters with their names attached. And again, that might be true. And again, that's just one fan's opinion that does watch the series, but doesn't like some of the concepts. But when one thinks about it, folks, when one thinks about it, this is how you have to really watch this series. This is how you really have to watch this series and maybe accept it for what it is. I mean, this is how I look at it. Even though I don't watch it, like I said, I'll catch glimpses here and there and mostly keep up on it, either through my 10-year-old nephew or watching and reading what people have to say about it online. But this is how a lot of fans should look at this. They should look at it as being an alternate dimension. Yeah, remember this movie? Yeah, Turtles Forever, you remember this movie? You remember this movie? Turtles Forever? And that was my dog. She was scratching herself, getting rid of some fleas. But remember this movie? When it was made for the 25th anniversary? Remember how the main plot was you had different turtles from different dimensions, alternate worlds? That is how you should be viewing the Nickelodeon version of this Nickelodeon incarnation of Ninja Turtles. You should be viewing it as an alternate world dimension. In other words, let's say they wanted to do a Turtles Forever sequel. Let's say they wanted to do a sequel to this with the same plot point. With the same plot point, but this time it's all CGI. But with the same plot point. Basically, this would just be another dimension. In other words, this is just another world. This is how you got to look at it. You got to look at it as saying this is another dimension, another world of the Ninja Turtles. I mean, there's one scene where you have all the turtles captured, the 80s, 90s turtles, and the 2K3 turtles, and they're being shown by Shredder, the Utron Shredder. They're being shown all these different incarnations of themselves, from the Archie comics, the OVA anime, the live-action movies. They're being shown all these different incarnations from different worlds and dimensions. And that's basically how how fans, whether you like it, whether you really like and enjoy it, or you're on the fence about it, you have a mixed reaction about it, or you just don't like it. That's how you need to view this series. You need to view it as this is just another alternate dimension, an alternate world. And in this world, in this dimension, the human allies of April, Casey, Irma, and possibly Karai are all teenagers. And they're growing up with the turtles at the same time. At the same time, they're growing up with the turtles. And another way you could look at it as being view it as being just another alternate world dimension, is the fact that it seems that in this version of Ninja Turtles, you're possibly going to get an April-Donatello relationship. Yeah, this is something that a lot of fans have been hoping for, that enjoy the series, that have been hoping for since the series began, because pretty much it's clued in, almost right from the very beginning, that Donatello has a crush on April. And then it's further confirmed later on, of course, with her kissing him on the cheek, possibly confirmed more so this past Sunday, where I think I read somewhere she wanted Donnie's help more than she wanted Leo's or Raph's. And then, of course, you got these possible storyboard sketches being leaked out at several sites of a possible episode next season or later this season where it looks like they're confirming and going all the way with this whole April Donatello boyfriend-girlfriend relationship. But again, we just have to wait and find out. But again, we just have to wait and find out. But like I said, that's another way of looking at this incarnation, the Nickelodeon incarnation of Ninja Turtles, as being a different world dimension version of the Turtles. So that's how I think you need to look at it. You need to look at it whether you like the show, you're really a good fan of the show, or if you really like the show and you're an old school, long time fan, you like it just like the new fans do, or if you're a mixed, or if you're a fan, long time, sort of decade long fan, whatever, that you're kind of on the fence about it, or you're just a fan, or you're a fan that don't like it, period. That's how you need to view it. And it's just need to view this as it being a different world dimension of where the Turtles live. But in this case, the Turtles are growing up with their human allies because their human allies are teenagers as well. So that's all I'm going to say about it, though. That's my take on it. That's how I feel you need to view it, especially if you're a longtime fan and you're kind of on the fence about it. Or you're a fan, you really like it, but you still question some of the decisions, or you don't like it, but you still question. You get the idea. If you're a long-time fan, old school fan, and you like it, but you still question what to do, and you're on the fence about it, whatever, this is how you need to view it, as just being another world dimension, alternate world dimension of where the Turtles exist. So let me know what you guys think down below, and I'll talk to you later. Comments are welcome. God bless. Take care, and have a nice, safe Valentine's Day.